I was getting that annoying clicking sound every time I hit a bump on my Onewheel. It's the loose ferrite bead. Plus my front headlights were out, so I decided to take a look. Use a flathead screwdriver. You should be able to remove that connector for the front LEDs without completely disassembling your box. What I found is that my black and red wires were broken, probably from vibration over time. Notice I'm using a little wood block there to keep everything pried open. That's going to really help you out. So I decided I could probably try to repair this. The connector on there, I don't know what kind of connector that white 4-pin connector is, Molex connector, but I didn't have one on hand, similar one, so I decided to reuse the pins in there and to rewire the red and black wires. Red wire had one whole piece that was missing, so I had to replace that. To get the little pins out, use your miniature electronics tools. It's a little bit of a pain. You should be able to get them out. You got to lift the little tab on the white plastic connector so you can push out the pin. So, alright, I got my 2 pins out. And now I'm ready to replace the wires onto there. Those are crimp connectors, but I'm not going to get away with crimping them a second time. So first, go ahead and clean out the connectors as best you can. Get the remnants of the old wire out of there so that you'll be able to fit your new wire in there to solder it. Here's my red wire extension. Solder connection is going to be the best, most reliable for that. Go ahead and solder it, and then you're going to add your heat shrink over that connection. Before you put the pin on, you're going to want to feed it back through the ferrite core, and hopefully you'll have just enough length coming out the other side to get the metal pin connection on there, so that you'll be able to fit it into the housing. So I used a helping hands here, gripper tool to hold the little metal pin, the tip of the wire inside of where the previous wire was crimped, and then just go ahead and solder it in there and you'll be good to go. And you push that back into the housing until it snaps. It only goes in one way. If it's not fitting, turn it 180 degrees. Or better yet, when you take it out the first time, try to make a note of the correct orientation. So for the black wire, I got lucky and I didn't need to use the helping hands. I just was able to set it on there, onto the end of the wire. Give it a quick solder. Then you may want to use one of these small flathead screwdrivers to kind of push that pin into the plastic housing. Might be a little stiff after soldering. Go ahead and check it and make sure that it's secure. And there you go. Then to prevent this from happening again in the future, take your foam. I think this is 1/8 inch thick foam. I initially did about 1.5 wraps. In hindsight, you should probably do a little more than that. Secure it with a zip tie or a twist tie. Okay, and then reconnecting that connector is way harder than removing it. So make sure to have some pliers. I cut out a lot of footage here of me struggling to get this thing back in. So you should eventually be able to get it. Just finesse it in there. If somebody has any tips on how to get this stupid thing in, I'd be really interested to know. Okay, so you snap it back in and then you should be good to go. And before we go any farther, let's go ahead and give it a quick shake. Yeah, there's still a little bit of vibration that I could hear in there, so I just cut off a little bit more foam. Instead of taking the whole thing out and redoing it, I just shove some extra foam in there. Okay, and then let's give it a quick check before we go any further. Just quickly slide it in there, hook everything up. Power it on, and ta-da! I got my front headlights back. So exciting. I can't wait to get out there and ride with my headlights again. Okay, so then, of course, your gasket's going to be destroyed after breaking apart the electronics enclosure. Just get out that RTV, silicone sealant, and just glom it all over everything. It's hard to put too much of this stuff in there. Once you tighten it down, it's all going to smoosh out to the outside, and you can clean that up. So go ahead and just put an excess on there. Make sure to get all the way to the back where it's barely opened. And then once you've got all your screws back in, just make sure to tighten them until the end of the screw is flush with the backside. If you over tighten them, the screw will start sticking out. You'll be able to feel that with your thumb by just feeling over it. So make sure those are flush, and then you just wipe off the excess RTV and you're done.